Yeah, na, na.
Hey everybody, what's happening? Song breakdowns, Otaak Band, hashtag #TackNation. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm not looking so good, not feeling so good. Just found out today that I got COVID for a second time. So that's delightful. Really enjoying 2020, just having a ball. Favorite year so far. 2020 has just been fantastic. This is just delightful to have to spend another 2 weeks at home. So today we're going to talk about the second tune off of Bejawiya, which was the first record that I made with Otaak Band. Here we're going to hear Ahmed Said Abu Amna, the wonderful singer from Eastern Sudan, who we made this record together, singing a traditional piece in the Beja style. So we'll take a listen, and then we'll break the song down. And look, while we're on the topic, before we get into the song, I can use this moment as just a public service announcement that if you have antibodies from having recovered from the virus, they do go away, which is exactly what I was told when I got my blood test and I got a level of antibodies. That's kind of a disclaimer that comes with it. It says they don't know when exactly you've had the illness, because I got my test a couple months later. You don't know when exactly you've gotten the illness. You don't know to what degree your antibodies are effective, and you don't know how long they last, but you just have this number. And here today, this is in the New York Times, okay, if you recover from the virus, you're protected for up to 3 months. All right, so the CDC has just released this that says if you've had mild to no symptoms, which is exactly my case, your antibody levels will drop off after about 3 months. So that's exactly what's going on. So wear those masks. Don't be stupid. Don't be a dick. Worried about what the winter is going to happen in the winter, and this is crazy. So here we go.
تدور قلبي بريك طول وافي بتاعي ورعبي كونا يجندرنا وسماي ابكريري Guam ne tirin no adore anei ofna biri dora mashneina wa vidno bigidfnei Guam ne tirin no adore anei ofna biri dora mashneina wa tidno bigidfnei تدور الروا فوقو وروا ليوك شبوبو أفعل سبيت السيتو أدوي دوري تربندي أفعل سبيت السيتو وأدوي دوري تربندي
This tune was probably recorded pretty early on in our maybe 1 month and a half to 2 month recording process. We were recording this in 2011, in the fall of 2011 in Cairo. And I really love this song. I just love the singing style and the accompaniment. This is a typical example of the Beja style of playing the lyre, the masankop, and singing along. Every lyre player tunes the instrument to his vocal range. I've seen guys maybe play two at once, sort of as a gimmick, picking out the same melody on both or something. But if somebody's playing it, he's playing by himself and singing, or maybe with drums. Here we tuned the lyre, as well as in all these songs, we tuned the lyre to the piano, which was interesting, man. When Ahmed and I first started getting together, and I was tuning the lyre to the piano, maybe the first or second time that I did it, he said, wait, what are you doing? He had never conceived of the lyre being a musical instrument in the way that the keys or the piano are. And the crazy thing is that he plays keys. When he wasn't playing the lyre, he worked as a wedding musician and events and parties and stuff, and he has a keyboard. And he would program drum beats, and he would program everything and play along and play songs and events and stuff. But he had never put these two instruments in the same category. So that was really interesting when we finally brought those together with him, for him, I mean. So this is TEHABAY, and TEHABAY is a particular style of Beja poetry. In the Beja society, poetry, I don't know about always, but very often accompanied by the tambur or the masankop. Really important cultural tradition. And I had to ask Ahmed to refresh my memory on what exactly is TEHABAY, and so he came back with the following. He said, "Kalimat al-Sha'ir Abu Ali Guila Or." Yeah, this is written by a gentleman named Abu Ali Guila Or, and he is وهو متوفي وهو أحد أشهر الشعراء الحكمة والنصائح. He is now deceased, and he is one of the most important Beja poets in poetry of this is, he says, hikmah and nasaih, wisdom and advice. I don't know if that kind of thing has a name in English, but poetry of wisdom, which is, you can kind of see, you can kind of see what he's talking about in this song. A good reputation is made by forgiving others and being brave in battle. These kind of words of wisdom. And then التهابي مقطع شعر مكتمل الجوانب الجمالية يحتوي على مادة شعرية جيدة وبلغة منقحة وجيدة. And so that means it's a piece of poetry, okay, completed. مكتمل الجوانب الجمالية يحتوي على مادة شعرية جيدة. It's and it's a poetic work that completely captures a worthy poetic theme. And بلغة منقحة, and it's something that's been revised, something that you've actually worked on, and in good language. وخالية من العيوب على حسب قواعد اللغة البيجاوية. Okay, without errors. Okay. With respect to Beja grammar, the grammar of the Beja language. So this is TEHABAY 1. Later on in the album, we had a TEHABAY 2. It was a different piece. And so that's what this is. We took, Ahmed knew these words, and he then applied them and accompanied himself with a particular kind of strumming pattern on the tambur, so traditional music. I just love the way Ahmed sings this piece. And it was really stuff like this that started to show me the truly deep connection that this Sudanese Beja music has to the American music. And you hear it in the scale, and you hear it in his voice, and you hear it in the subject matter. But this is a typical tuning. Minor 7 chord, basically. Like, if you start it from the low note, if you're taking it from this note, then it's a minor 7 chord. But this song is not in that tonality. It's here. Keeps riffing off of that. In each kind of verse is, he's holding this, and there's a little bit less going on with the fingers when he's singing, and that's typical of the way a lot of these songs are played. You have, even though you're playing the melody and singing the melody, one time. You do a little bit less while you're singing, so you can kind of concentrate on the words. The scale is a little bit low on this tambur. It sounded really nice on Ahmed's tambur, which were shorter than this one. And of course a skin one also. He also played with a pick, man. Like I generally just use zip ties. I mean, this is the easiest thing. But he actually brought from the Sudan, where we played our gigs, he actually brought his picks were kind of a reed that were like firm but pliable at the same time, and he would kind of make a little crease in it so that it would kind of bend over and make the picking part, and they just had such a better tone. Like the plastic zip ties really eat up a lot of the sound. all his different vocal tricks and stuff that he's doing and his embellishments that really reminded me of the great American singers and like the singing style. And the thing is, man, if you give this melody to any American singer, what are they going to do with it? Those harmonies, man, the harmony is in this Beja music. I mean, when you're playing, this is the scale that he just tunes by ear. Ahmed didn't know anything about a minor 7 chord or any of that. He didn't know what key we were in. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what key you're in. It's just if the tuning fits your voice, and he's got a golden ear. Just a golden ear. I mean, I've heard other guys when they play, like they are not in tune. They don't tune the instrument right. Man, even if it wasn't in tune with the piano, he would tune the instrument exactly in tune. So, you give this, if an American singer was going to do this, man, and you kind of switch to that. That's the kind of thing that I really love, man. And that's why I always wanted to get American musicians on this stuff. Because when American musicians hear this kind of thing, they just know what to play. Because that's it. Like, that's it. So that was always really exciting for me, man, to make those kind of discoveries. And that's pretty much it. I think in a traditional setting, as I mentioned in the last video, songs like these can just go on forever. I mean, it's just you and you just play, and it's a poem, and you can recite however you like. And every player, man, every lyre player has their own little kind of lick that they like to throw in. As they're kind of tuning up and as they're kind of getting things going, or when they're reciting something like this with no rhythm, there's always little things that each guy has. And actually, this scale, we'll see this a couple songs down the road. This went straight into the tune E Farsa. This would segue right into that because they have the same tuning, but we use a different tonality from the same pentatonic scale. In that song, we're gonna hang around the minor chord more instead of this, which isn't here. And that's pretty much it. This was the show opener. When we were doing our first tour, 2014, we would open the show with this tune. And And it's just such a great introduction to his voice, and a great way to get things kicked off. And a really beautiful example of just what I call this, this kind of universal sound, man. I don't know if universal, but it's an American and Sudanese thing. I mean, it was stuff like this why I called this Sudanese American lyre music. That was kind of our tagline when Ahmed was in the band and we were doing mostly his stuff. This was Sudanese American lyre music. And because it's not just that he would sing in this style and I had my arrangement. I mean, it's more levels than that. I mean, it was these kind of singing styles that really opened my eyes about this connection. And especially because, as we'll see later, man, there are tunings, lyre tunings and styles in Beja music that have a clear harmony that you'll hear in a zillion American songs. With your major chord and your minor chord and your 5 chord, and there's a form. And we'll get into this a little bit later on in subsequent videos, because you just think like how because in the Beja music, I mean, there is no harmony. I mean, as a trained musician, you can recognize that that this has a harmony, or this has a tonality. You're singing in a particular tonality. You get that. To Ahmed, you just sing the song that way. The song just goes a certain way. And he's got such a great ear that he just does it. But it's not about minor chords or whatever, or any tonality. You just sing. And it's not that there's a harmony, because I asked him this one time, about these songs that very clearly have chords. I mean, if you're doing something like that, that's a minor chord. But to him, it just meant a fuller sound. I mean, by ear, he would sing in a minor scale because he knows the tonality by ear. But it just holding open those different strings, which to me make more embellished chords, to him just made kind of a bigger sound, but that he would just still know it by ear, how to sing along to it. And that's why it was always so easy to set this stuff with the other instruments, with the keys and bass and everything. And that's pretty much it. And so these are the things that we're going to be talking more and more about as these songs continue. So thanks for watching. This video is a little bit more talking than the last one. Next week, Dalib, one of the most fun songs on the album, man. One of my favorite rhythms. So thanks for sticking around. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Notifications. See you next week. Thanks a lot.